guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Tuesday, May 4th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am ready to get my coloring on. Alrighty, good to see everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see everybody. Come on in, come on in, come on in. I so look forward to our time together, guys. I really do. Hey, Stace. Do a sound check for me, Stace. Let me know how I'm sounding. Another stormy night in Georgia, huh? Oh, man. Sorry to hear that. That's not fun. Our storms moved through last night. Hi, Pearl. Yeah, I'm having a great day. Good. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the sound checks. And do me a favor, guys. You know, this has been an ongoing process with this headset. But if something changes on the headset, please let me know. I'm still trying to figure out why the set changes when I have a guest on. I may just have to take it off when I have a guest and then put it back on again. Welcome to everybody that's been coming in. Love you guys. You know that. So relax and sit back and get comfortable. Thanks for saying hi to Vicky. Welcome to all the people up in the gallery watching, but not in the room. All right, so let me go over calendar really quick. So Thursday, Miss Helen will be here, Helen Elliston. I can't wait to have her come on camera, talk about her book. And I hope you guys saw the post that I put up, the link that I did to Miss Claire, who did a walkthrough of the book. So you'll be able to see the entire, hi Rebecca, you'll be able to see the entire book through that link from Claire, Color with Claire. And then this Thursday, we'll get to talk to Helen one-on-one about it. So a couple of you have asked me whether I got my nose bent out of shape because of Claire putting up the walkthrough on Helen's book. Guys, absolutely not. You should know me better than that. We support each other. I'm glad we got to see a walkthrough of it. That'll let me concentrate on a couple of different things. But really, we're all about supporting each other. So I had no problem at all with that post. And the neat thing is it supports Helen, so that's good. Okay, Sunday is Mother's Day. I'm sure a lot of you are aware of that already. Just throwing that out there. Hi, Sandra. I haven't seen you for a while. but Helen wasn't there in the flesh. Yeah, that's right. But again, guys, you should know me better than that. I don't have any problem with that at all. Okay, Sunday the 16th, the rose contest ends and the face contest ends. So don't forget to post to that. Sunday the 23rd, the hearts contest ends. You really want to be a part of that, guys. $100 gift certificate from Helen. All right, and the other bit of news too, you guys know that I've been talking to, hi Tammy, Marjorie Sarnat. She is author of several books. For example, Best Dressed Pets. And she is right now going to be in here, let's see, after the first week of June, because Marjorie says she's got a lot of things coming up in May. So sometime from the second week on in June, Marjorie will be here. Yay. I'm so looking forward to that. Hello, Melba. Hello, Wanda, Tammy, Sandra. Yep. So we got so much going on here. All right. So let me show you a couple things that I wanted to show you here. Gonna have some fun tonight. We always have fun, basically. All right, I pulled in a book that I wanted to show you called Realistic Portraits. This is by Christine Karron. I've approached Christine, by the way, but she hasn't answered. Too bad. I'd love to have her come in as well. I think she'd be a cool artist to talk to and get to know. So this is Rita from Guatemala. Hello, Rita. ¿Cómo estás, muchacha? Me gusta estás aquí. All right. So let me date this. And this is from Helen. Because she was nice enough to give us that certificate. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I want you to look at these realistic portraits here. And the neat thing about this book is it's got everything in color so you can see it. And the reason that I picked up the book is you guys are always asking about coloring skin. And I thought that this would be a really neat way to do some tutorials on coloring skin. It's not hard. And the neat thing is the shading is already there. Now the paper, it's pretty good. It's not super thin. I give it about a 4 or a 5. No alcohol mark. Well, it's blank on the back side, so that's really good. But the neat thing about this is it's got that shading. Now, you got to remember, I know this sounds obvious, but sometimes it's not obvious. You got to remember, guys, that this is flat paper. And so everything that you see on here is done with the shading to give you that depth. And so that's why I wanted to go ahead and work with this book a little bit, not tonight, so that you can learn things like shading inside the nose and the eye and underneath the hair and how to color this. And it has a little bit of a splash background here, so that gives us a chance to do some neat things with that as well. So we've got really, really cute images. I would even strongly consider doing this little guy. You know, we do adults all the time, so doing a little boy like that with the coloring would be wonderful. But I want you to look at the shading on here so that when you're coloring, if this were line art, and I'll be talking about that in a minute, line art and the grayscale, is you can see how the shading inside the nose brings that depth, inside the eye brings that depth, and then of course underneath where the hand is. Hi Diane. Oh, good to see you, Diane. Underneath the hand. So this is a fantastic book. And I'll show you about doing skin color, of course. This would be another good one to do because he's got his arm behind his head. So I felt that these portraits would be perfect for doing both coloring and teaching about skin color, and then just coloring in general. I put the affiliate links up. This is the cover photo. And you can see how beautiful and rich this is. All right. And I'm really, really glad to see the mix of boys, girls, men, women in this book. Like this one. I like the hairstyle. Pretty cute. Actually, bear with me. I'm going to take a picture of that. Hold on, give me a second here. I love that hairstyle, and I'm always sending samples to my hairstylist. Just love this book, guys. And again, every single portrait has a color image in the front of the book. But I can't wait to dive into this to show you skin, skin coloring again, shading. Look at the shading here where the hair is. And you can see that half the face is shaded. Good stuff. Okay. I love the smiles on these guys too. Hey, Maddie. So it looks like, I guess she's doing half the books in portrait and half in landscape. Love the expressions on these guys, by the way, too. Get my paper towel out from underneath. Cute hat. Look at that. Bling. There we go. All right. So Christine also, just in case you didn't know, is doing the Bunny Blue series. Zoom in. Zoom in. These are pretty cute. I've seen them. I really haven't done anything out of them. And then, of course, she's got her fairies, mermaids, and swirl spirits on this one. I've got to learn not to eat potato chips before I go online. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Oh, Sandra Kay. She's, Christina's Canadian? Okay. Cool. Okay, so here's the back of the book that shows all the portraits that are in there. 24 illustrations. And the front of the book has them in color. So that's pretty cool too. So I will be doing one of these for you guys. And we can have a lot of fun with it. All right. Oh, she knows Jillian. Okay, yeah, I'll check that out. Zoom out. Now, speaking of Christine, I told you that I was thinking about picking up this book both in the grayscale and the line art. I bought this one for you. And the reason that I picked it up is because I want to show you the difference between, zoom out, coloring a grayscale and coloring a line art. So I'm going to be doing this side by side. I don't want you guys freaking out that are afraid of grayscale. Absolutely no reason to do that. So these are the two images. I'm not going to page through the book because you've seen it in the grayscale. So exact same images in the grayscale as there are in the line art, except they're different. All right, now notice too, so that there's no confusion, is when Christine did these books, she changed the cover front for the one being the grayscale and the one being the line art, which I think is a terrific idea. So the one with the red head is the line art. Just read the cover. Sorry about the glare. And then the one with the grayscale clearly says grayscale. All right. So I picked one here, some images. I'm going to do the good and evil And since good always triumphs over evil, I'm glad to see that we've got good on top, evil on the bottom. So let's get coloring. So I'm going to go ahead and start up on, let me see. And I think what I'm going to do too is to keep the comparison as pure as possible, is I will go ahead and use the same pencils on each side. I'm not going to use marker. So if I start to reach for my markers, just slap them out of my hand. So I'm pulling, let's see, this is a burgundy Fila and a brute funner for the red. And I want to pull now I'll pull a light, a medium, and a dark. So let me pull this here. Yeah, that's a good medium. This one happens to be Castle Arts. Now, one of the things that I like to do, this is just a me thing, is when I'm doing my light and my medium and my dark, I try to keep my pencils in the same order. On my desk, and that way you can just grab them and you don't confuse the two. Or three, excuse me. Where did I learn counting? So let me go ahead and start with the grayscale. And I'm going to go ahead and start with my light. Let me change something up. I'm going to just start with my dark, excuse me. Zoom in. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the intention is to keep them in that right order. But reality is they get moved around, so... Now, remember on grayscale, it doesn't matter the order that you do your light, your medium, and your dark in. It's whatever floats your boat. Then you end up holding them in your hand, says Stace. Yeah. Ooh. So the fun thing here that I want to show you tonight is the progression between the two images as I'm doing the grayscale side by side with the line art. So let me hit my dark spots here. And I think we've got medium here. And please remember that you're not held lockstep to what is on the page when you're coloring. And by that I mean, if you want to go ahead and start adding your little extras, for example, where you think the dark should be, have at it. Zoom in. Now notice where we're talking in the black part here that you think the color may not show up. It does. We've had lots and lots of discussion about that. Is that you think the color isn't there, but it is, and your brain sees it. So I'm still using my dark pencil. And don't forget, you've heard this lesson from me tons and tons before, is keep turning your pencils, right? So when I run into dark areas like this that I can't necessarily see the pencil, I still go ahead and add it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my medium. And I'm very, very lightly going over my medium values of the grayscale. Now this medium value that I'm putting on here right now may not necessarily be my final value that I use. Let me get back to my dark here a little bit. And by that I mean, whenever you guys color, I always tell you, is tint your areas. So you're not going to come in gangbusters with your coloring. You just want to settle your colors here and get a general idea of what you're going to put in. And it's going to look a little wonky, remember that. Okay, so I've got my general colors in, I've got my dark and my medium. Zoom out. And let's go up here and pop in a few of these values. And I'm about to show you where the grayscale is really valuable in helping you with your shading, because I'm going to pop over to the line art now. And work on the same image. And this is why it's going to be really valuable for you to see this side by side. Zoom out. Okay, now watch this. if you were looking at your line art, which I'm going to do next, and if you're a relatively inexperienced or new colorist, in other words, you're still learning, when you're looking at this blank page here, you would not see all the intricate shading that's going on. So now what I'm going to do, and this is where I'm going to show you, let me switch this because I'm right-handed. Is if you were coloring this, you would just be popping in your colors. You'd be starting with your darkest. Now, what I normally do, let me digress a moment here. What I normally do, and you know that this is my coloring style, is I would come in with my lightest color, and I would put this in as my base. Zoom in. And remember, I haven't put my lightest color in yet on my grayscale. Let me go ahead and do that on my grayscale with the horn, just so that you can see the comparison. Now I'm coming in with a butterfly kiss, barely, barely, barely. Touching the paper. And look how cool now that horn already looks. Okay. Now I've pre-sprayed the page with my Krylon. And that way, if I were going to use any other medium like markers or chalks, my surface would be ready for it. Now, I'm not too worried here about, I mean, obviously you want to fill in as much as you can. You use your little circles. Make sure you don't have any popcorn effect. Change direction a little bit just to fill in any areas that are not wanting to comply. Okay. Zoom out. So here's what I really want you to see. So I'm coming in with my dark, and if you were just coloring this line art, you probably would not be doing this to the extent that I'm going to be doing it. But I'm coming in here with my dark now. And keep an eye on this grayscale as I'm doing this side here, and you'll see how this is working. Using the grayscale as a guide now. Let me see if I can pull you in just a little more. I'm going to go ahead and look and see where all my darker values would be. Now, you will partially see this in line art, but not everything. And this is why grayscale works so well, because it guides you into seeing those areas that are going to be your darkest and your darkest shades. And why people are afraid of grayscale, it is absolutely beyond me. Grayscale is an absolutely wonderful, wonderful learning tool. Now, I'm going to go in with my medium red. And this is where I'm going to go next to my darkest part, very lightly. And you want to blend, right? Your transition from the light to the medium to the dark should be seamless. And remember how you always tint in your colors, which means you come in lightly with your whatever color you're using, and then you use repeated strokes to get the final value that you want. You don't go jamming your pencil into the paper. Okay, now I'm going to pop over here. This is my lightest pencil. Oops, let me get my light, excuse me. And I'm going to grab my medium now, and I'm going to enhance now that color between my darkest and my light. And I want you to see how rich this is looking now because of how this gray is coming through with your red. Everybody see that? And I want you also to see the difference now between the line art shading and the grayscale shading. You've got so much more depth with this grayscale. But that depth is totally, totally achievable. And one of the neat ways to do that is to take a gray and I'm very lightly going to go over my dark and my medium reds. So I want you to see now the progression between the two here, where I'm adding just a little bit of this gray onto my line art page. In order to pop in that depth of shading. Everybody see that? And can you see how much more depth and richness this side of the horn looks as opposed to this side where I haven't done that yet? It's so important that you see that, guys. And this is one of those things where that little touch, and see I'm emphasizing the center part with that gray. And then my outside. Now don't get stupid with the gray here. You just want to use a little bit. I got stupid with the gray there. Hold on. I need to cover that up just a little bit. There we go. Cool. So look at the difference now between our two horns. What do you guys think of that? And then I'm going to take my Tombow Mono and I'm going to, after I clean off the tip of all the blue that's on there, I'm going to take my Tombow Mono eraser and go up that center. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So look at the difference now between the two. On the grayscale versus the line art. Now, you're still going to have a little more richness on your grayscale than you are your line art. But that's fine. All right, let's go back to the head here. So I put my base color of my lightest color on here. A little bit different than from what I did with my grayscale. And now I'm going to come in and do my shading. Now when you transition from your darkest to your medium, same difference with line art, that as I'm coming out a little bit lighter. And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to define my dark areas. Hey, Lila. So I'm going to carry my darkest line down. We'll go ahead and get these eyes outlined. And notice on my non-grayscale page that I need to go ahead and add my own embellishments and my own shading on my eyes for my dark and my medium. And then I'm going to pull my line down here. We want to have that shading by the mouth and underneath the mouth. This is the Characters book by Christine Karron. Lila. Now, notice on the mouth, on the grayscale, that the artist suggested that we have a little color coming down on the lip. That suggestion is not present on the line art. And this, guys, is why I want you to be comfortable with grayscale, because it teaches you so much about shading. And this is why I'm doing a side-by-side. You pull in a little more. This is why I'm doing a side-by-side shading, because unless you've colored a while, you're not going to necessarily know about how to do this shading and where to put it. Excuse me. So what I'm saying to you is, if you're avoiding grayscale for whatever reason, you are really cutting yourself out from some really good examples and lessons on how to color grayscale. I'm sorry, how to shade. Okay, so I'm working my darkest pencil here. So here's a good example by the hair that you might take your pencil and do what I'm doing, which is with my darkest and just doing the edge. But there is so much more to this than that. Okay, so let me move to my medium pencil now. And I'm going to blend out from my dark. Oops, let me go back with my dark and get that other eye. Now, don't worry about it looking a little streaky, because we're going to blend that out. All right, let me go back to my medium. And work around that eye here. Look at that. Isn't that neat? Lila says it looks like he had his brows waxed and shaped. So let me go ahead and emphasize this eye here. Again, this is my medium now, red. Now, underneath the nose is where I had the dark. So now I'm going to blend that out as well. And I'm going to add a little bit of shape to the nose right there. I'm going to tilt my camera a little bit. There we go. Okay. Now again, I've just basically roughed in my colors. And I've gone ahead and I've emulated where the grayscale showed me that my shading is. So I'm going to go back with my darkest red. And then come in with my medium. And that's right about the muscles, Lila. If you were just to buy the line art, you would never necessarily realize the best way to color those muscles. Okay, now I'm coming in with my medium next to my dark. And I'm blending that in on the skin. Now, don't worry about any streaky stuff right now. That'll all come out in the wash. Okay, medium pencil. And I'm using my medium now to blend in from my darkest color. So instead of taking my darkest color and just going lighter and lighter and lighter, I'm using my medium color to do that job. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where you get your depth in your coloring and makes your artistic coloring look really, really good. Okay, so I've got my medium red. That I'm blending into my lightest red. But wait, there's more. All right. Let me get some water here. Zoom out. And then I'm going to take my dark gray pencil I'm not jamming it into the paper. I'm letting my repeated strokes color to the point that I want. So I'm working along the edge. I already did the horn for you. Zoom in. And Wanda's mentioning that you can use indigo blue to add to the shading. That works as well. Now I'm going to put a very, very light sheen of gray over this red. Now I want these eyes to be very dramatic. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit darker gray on here, because I want that red to darken up. But remember, you don't want this gray to be streaky. Otherwise, you defeat the purpose. Okay. Yeah, Lila, I think the red cellophane would look really good with that in his eyes. But not ready to do that yet. Okay, now let's pop back over to Grayscale. So I've done my dark and my medium on the skin. And now I'm going to go ahead and put my light on here. I'm using the side of my pencil because I want that very light application. Now, there's a red line coming down here. I think that's a paper issue because I sure didn't put that in there. And again, there we go. Get that fixed. Now, I'm hardly touching my pencil. This is my lightest red now. And I'm going to use my darkest and put a little bit of a nose here. Now, you guys know that I absolutely do not like to use blender pencil on my grayscale. But depending on your paper quality and your ink, you should, in some instances, be able to get away with it. Ah, Jeanette, I can't read French. J'adore ce que vous faites. Did I butcher that French? J'adore ce que quoi vous faites. Fates. Hopefully I didn't say anything nasty. Oops. Oh, that's why I got that line in there, because I'm on top of my paper. Duh. Mystery solved. Ah, she said that she loves what I do. Thank you. Okay, now look at this. On the side by side, guys, and you'll see this as I progress with this picture. Everybody see how richer this side is than our other side? So Grayscale also tends to give you an overall richness. All right. So I'm going to pull my dark pencil here. because I want those eyes to be very piercing. And again, it's the repetitive strokes of the pencil, guys. Do not dig your pencil into your paper to get your darker color. If you want it darker, you do it with repetitive strokes. My long-term members know that I talk about that all the time. All right, so there's my dark. Here's the medium. And then blend that out to your light color. Let the pencil do the work. Don't shove it into the paper. Everybody see how I'm blending that out? And I'm taking my dark pencil and I'm emphasizing these dark areas. Again, your eye doesn't necessarily see it, but your brain sure does. All right. Zoom out. So see how the side by side now is looking. I need to grab some water here. Okay, so let's work here on his forehead. Now, if you were doing this side by side as well, you would be tempted to add gray onto here in order to emulate this. No, 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 no. This is just your grayscale, your gray shading, guys. It's shadow. You don't want that gray to be part of your design element. Now, I'm going to blend in using my lightest pencil. I'm going to blend in now this forehead area. So I don't want to lose that light, medium, and dark, but I just want to lose that harsh line between the two. Yeah, his face does look thinner in the grayscale, Lila. Now again, important point, I'm not adding gray on here to make it look like that. This is just shadow, guys. That's all that is. Anybody have any questions so far about what I'm showing you? All right, now this line is very harsh right here on the side. We don't want that. Zoom in. No harsh lines, guys. And just keep working your shadows until you're happy with it. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of tweaking here at the moment because I want you to see this overall coloring. But I'm using my lightest pencil here now. And this is where I'm combining in and softening all my lines. Zoom out, zoom out. So what do you guys think so far of the side by side? Yeah, I think that this image, I mean, her face is bigger too. And I actually think that the line art is bigger. Let's see. So that's 3 inches from here to the top of the eyebrow. Oh, 3 inches. Okay. Wow. Interesting. I would have sworn that this is a little bit larger. All right. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit because you know I don't like my smudges on here. Yeah, very much an optical illusion, Lila. All right, does everybody see how we're getting a lot more dimension on here because we've shadowed in a dark shadow, a medium shadow, and then out to the light skin, and that's what your grayscale is showing you. So if you didn't have this side-by-side comparison, you may not realize that that would be the route to go. So I really want you to see that grayscale has a huge value of showing you the ins and outs of a particular image. Everyone says black is slimming. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and play with the arm here. Now again, because this is my line art, this is what I normally do, is I'll go ahead and put in my base color. Whereas in my grayscale, I would go ahead and work on my light, medium, and dark areas. Sometimes I'll do dark and then light and finish off with medium. It just depends. It really does. Okay. Now, as you guys were commented on, this arm looks very fat to it, but that's because we don't have our shading in for our muscles. Now, I don't care if you shade. Right now I'm just kind of shading with my light pencil, just to do some placement shading. I just happen to have it in my hand, so that's why I'm doing this. Now we've got a little bit of an ink line missing here. So I'll go ahead and add that. There we go. So right now I'm just basically sketching in my dark areas, and I happen to be holding on to my lightest pencil, so that's what I'm using. And if you have any question at all about how an arm should be shadowed, then pop over to Google and take a look at that. Okay, zoom out. Zoom out. Yeah, I'm already in extended view. So now we've got the side by side on the arm. So let me go over to my grayscale. I'm going to switch you around here. Zoom in. And I've got my darkest pencil. And notice on this particular part that we don't have too much super dark areas. All right, so now I'm going to pop over to my, let's see here. Light area. And my light is also going to cover my medium, which is fine because I'll go back over with my medium pencil with on those medium areas. So I want to get the light area filled in. Now sometimes it helps when you can't see where your mediums are, is to go ahead and put your light on top of it. And that will pop out where those grays are. Again, totally up to you. Whatever floats your boat. Now I'm going to go back with my medium and work on those areas. And again, this is not a matter of just plopping color on here. You've got to blend it out. Everybody see how that's really coming to life now? Now, again, I've got a lot of that popcorn effect. Zoom in. So I'm going to go ahead and, using the side of my blender pencil, not the point, I'm going to go ahead and smooth that out. Now by doing the blending that I'm doing, this is making this grayscale look drop dead gorgeous. But don't overblend, guys. And I'm also going to get this face smoothed out. I am avoiding the gray as much as possible. Drop dead gorgeous, guys. Everybody see how beautifully that's smoothed out? Zoom out. Zoom out. Look how beautiful that looks, guys. All right, zoom in. Now, I don't want to blend too much yet on here because really I just laid my basic pink color. Well, that I believe is because, yeah, we're getting the shading in. All right, so let's go ahead, because I hadn't done any shading on my line art. This is my darkest pencil. Okay, so that's my dark. And now I'm going to, I've mostly got mediums and lights on this arm. So now I'm going to go to town with that. Now again, if you are ever unsure about where to add muscle, Google some images and find an image that is positioned closely to what you're trying to color. And this is where you shouldn't hesitate to go back. So I'm going to pop in because I want some more shade in the crook of the arm. So now I'm going to go back with my darker color. And add that in. So guys, I'll say it again, this is not a wham bam thank you ma'am, throw on the color and move on. You're going to build your layers, you're going to build your colors. As you see things that need to be changed up or added to, put a little dark here. For some reason, people feel like if they have to go back to their coloring where they've colored before and add some stuff that they've, they shouldn't have to do that. Excuse me. Because, they think they should have gotten it the first time. No. And trust me, as you're doing things like this and you're coloring subjects like muscles, it will start coming naturally to you where to add what. This is why I color a variety of images, because it gives you experiences in different subject matters. And for those of you that come in, you know, when I'm coloring and you see me coloring something that doesn't thrill you, you'll pass and not watch. Oh my gosh, guys, big mistake. It's not, like I said, and always say, it's not what I'm coloring, but how I'm coloring. So you know what? Even if muscles don't thrill you as a coloring subject, seeing me do this image will give you that knowledge base for other things. All right, let's look at the side-by-side now. Isn't that cool? Grayscale, line art. Maybe I should switch that because I started with the grayscale on the right. Oh my. Zoom out. Questions? Questions? Comments? Oh. My goal for you, by the time I'm done with this, or even now, should be that you would embrace grayscale. I'm using a little bit of white to emphasize our shiny part of the arm. And the cheeks. Hey, Melba. Oh, Melba, I'm so sorry you're having problems. So let's look at the side-by-side right now. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little white in here. And I'm going to put a little white over the eyes to smooth that out. Cool. All the phones are acting up around this area. Huh. Wow. That's kind of scary. All right, let me put in a new eraser here. Ouch. I wondered why you were on early, Wanda. Okay, guys, feedback on the side by side. What do you think so far? Do you like what I'm doing? Now, what I want you to notice, and you can really see the difference now, is this side looks a lot richer. So that's what Grayscale does. Well, Lila, the reason I can feel okay with doing this, and I agree with you, is we have good triumphs over evil. So that's how I'm taking this picture. You know, I'm going to try something here. Let me see something. You know what? We were talking about one side looking bigger than the other. So this side looks bigger than this side. Watch. Oh, come on. Let's get focused here. And now this side, to me, looks bigger than this side. It's the camera angle. Let me see if I can change that up a little bit. I didn't realize that was doing that. Lesson learned. Okay. So I'm going to soften the skin here. I'm using white. Yeah, I missed that you said about switching it. I just didn't see that comment. Okay. Live and learn. I actually thought there was a size difference because of the printing. Two separate books. All right, now I'm going to play with something here. Yeah, Melba, it's a good versus evil. So I want to look at this background a minute here. So bear with me. I'm actually demonstrating Melba. Grayscale coloring right next to line art coloring. All right. So what I'm looking at doing, and I'm just doing a test coloring, I'm not going to do all of this tonight. Oh, Melba, yeah, the character is the good and evil. So I want to level the playing field between these two images. Zoom in. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this black background because I want this comparison to be on a level playing field. Good night, Miss Lila. So again, guys, I'm just doing this in the one area so we can take a look at it. Good night, Miss Pearl. Hope you learned a lot tonight. Now be careful when you're doing your wispies around the hair. Because we don't want to lose those. Zoom out. Okay, so I want to get this now so we've got a similar look. And again, I'm not going to go very far with the black. Just enough to give us a basis to work from. Zoom in, zoom in. Now, one thing I want to tell you about these stars, you got to be careful, and same around the hair, is leave a little bit of an edge, excuse me, to work with. And that way, when you go back to do whatever you want to do with that star, you can see where that little puppy is. And again, I'm just using my Sharpie marker. Absolutely beautiful, guys. Okay, so we're in pretty good shape here. And I just want to do one other area in black, and then I'll go back on my images. Zoom out. Zoom out. Cool beans. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and work on his tail. And for that, I'm going to, what am I going to do with that? We'll see here. I want to try we're going to do a dual approach to this. So I'm going to go with a brownish red, zoom in, and there's a method to my madness to do this. Now, browns and red work beautifully together. So when you're going for your light, your medium, and your dark on your grayscale, Your light color can be your brown. And then I'm going to go with my red as a medium color. And I'm also going to use that red to color over that brown. Zoom out. So I want you to see how these color combinations are going together. And you see how beautifully that tail now is enriched in color. Zoom in. Zoom in. So in some cases, when you're doing your light and medium and brown, light, medium, and dark on your colors, your light and your medium and your dark can be compatible colors. So in this case, I'm using the brown and the red as my colors, my light and my medium. Does that make sense? And for my dark, I'm going to go ahead and use my Oh, Melba, take care. Be careful. For my dark, I'm going to use my gray, zoom out, zoom out. I wanted that tail to take on more of a brown flavor. And then I'm going to take my blender pencil and lightly blend in my shades. All right, there you go. There's the side by side on that now. And actually, I don't know if I can recoup from this. I wasn't thinking. Big boo-boo. Okay, I made a huge mistake here. Let's see if we can recoup this. Yeah, we can recoup. All right, zoom in, zoom in. Much better. I'm not going to depict evil over good. So I want the halo intact. There we go. And to really make it look like I didn't make a big mistake, I'm now going to take some brown and I'm going to go ahead and add that brown, and we are going to make a gold halo. Look how cool that looks, guys. So if you ever run into that situation that you have to make a total color change, attempt it. Okay, now I'm going to go back with my yellow over my brown. Oh, much better. And then I'm going to use my dark gray. Yeah, the angel made the devil feel so happy that he wanted a hug. So we'll go ahead and outline this with a dark color, just to give that dimensional look. Zoom out. There we go. Yowza. Ooh-wee. Let's not make that mistake again. So this is your grayscale version. And again, I have a light, a medium, and a dark. My light being the yellow, medium being my brown, and my dark being my gray. So that's a little bit of an exception to the rule about your light, medium, and dark stuff. Now let's take a look at it on the line art. And I'm just going to do the top portion because I'm running out of time. Time flies, doesn't it? So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, so there's my base color. Now, watch this. Let's see if I can get a good side by side here. Excuse me while I adjust my camera a little bit. So now we need to color in our dimensional lines. And again, for those of you that are not a fan of Grayscale, I want you to see how Grayscale affords you the learning opportunity in your coloring. It's a beautiful, beautiful guide. Okay, now I'm going to go back. Watch this. I'm going to go back with my yellow and blend over the top of that brown because I want to smush it into the paper a little bit. And then I'm going to take my gray and go ahead and on top of the brown on the edge of it. We're going to go ahead and get those other lines in here. Everybody see how I'm doing that? And then I'm going to go back with a little bit of yellow. And we'll smooth that out. Not too much. And don't forget to turn your yellow pencil to keep it sharp. Look at that. Zoom out. Zoom out. So what do you guys think of this side-by-side comparison? Thumbs up, thumbs down, eh? And do you notice any differences now between the two pages? What do you notice? The depth on the grayscale. And guys, this looks great. It really does. In fact, I will darken this in just a little more to play with that shading. But I really wanted you to see that grayscale is not scary, and line art can be made to look absolutely beautiful with the depth. Remember how clear that arm looked? Hold on, let me show you. Everybody see that? Look at the differences where we got this shading and this depth on the line art, which was already available to you on the grayscale. Zoom out. Let's see if I can get all three. Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Look at the difference, guys. Take screenshot. So this is a perfect example of showing you the before and the after. And that's what I wanted you to see. Okay, guys, I'm going to call it an evening. This is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. I hope you learned something. I hope you had a good time. And I hope that you can really see the difference between all the techniques. All right, guys. Love ya. Joyous, joyous coloring. Take care, peeps. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. and we'll continue with this project. Bye.